it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to another album ranking on a Tuesday, another lovely day already. And today we've got a viewer's request, and it was for the Lightning Seeds. Now, the Lightning Seeds were formed in Liverpool back in 1989 by Iain Brodie, who had been in bands like Big in Japan and Care and Original Mirrors. And it was originally a studio-based solo project for Brodie, but the Lightning Seeds expanded into a touring band following the success of a certain album that came out in 1994. They were quite big in the 90s, and of course he's known for doing that collaboration with David Baddiel and Frank Skinner called Three Lions, which got to 3 times it's been released and 3 times it got to #1. So yeah, some really good albums. There's more producing now, and he has produced people like Echo and the Bunnymen and the Wall of Voodoo and the Fall. The Lightning Seeds have brought out 7 albums. For me, the Lightning Seeds, I'm not the huge fan of Lightning Seeds, I must admit, but I do like their singles. But when I listen to these albums, you know, I was quite impressed with some of the albums. So, here we go then. So, coming in at number 7, we have the 6th album from 2009, and it is called Four Winds. So, you've got Iain Brodie on vocals and guitar, Simon Rogers does the string and woodwind arrangements. We've got James Skelly on guitar, Paul Duffy guitar, Nick Power keyboards, Lee Sull on the bass. Backing vocals Scott Mariam and Sophie Peterson. So, first track on here is Four Winds. Now, it's one of those songs that doesn't really get going from the upstart. And you think it's going to get going, and it ends. Things just happen. It's I don't know. It's a bit plain. It's not the best song on the album. Let's put it this way. Ghosts. I like this. It's a very uplifting thing. It's got all the tracks of the Lightning Seeds. I think this is one of the best tracks on the album. Up next, Said and Done. Very melodic, very dour. It's not very, as I say, interesting. Don't Walk On By. A little bit different. It's got a nice sound on this. I don't mind that one. The Story Goes. It's got a great vocal for Iain Brodie. Absolutely brilliant. Great vocalist. It's okay, that one. One Day on a Day Like This. Very melodic. It's got a nice little keyboard run in it as well. That's not too bad. All I Do, not very memorable, a bit. It's just very one-dimensional song. I'll Be Around. Very pleasant song. There's nothing wrong with that one. My favourite track on here is a thing called, and it's the last track, I Still Feel the Same. It's got a great bass line for starters, some nice guitar work, and it's a really uplifting track. It's a great way to end the album. Now, unfortunately, I find this album a little flat in places. Some of the tracks are good, but there's not many too uplifting tracks. But the ones that are really good, so I will give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 6, the 5th album from 1999, Tilt. So on here we've got Iain Brodie on vocals, guitar and keyboards, and Martin Campbell on the bass, Angie Pollock on the piano, and Zach Starkey on the drums. Life's Too Short. It's a little bit dancey for me, but on the other hand, it's quirky, but it's a little bit too dancey for me. Sweetness, Soul Sensations. Now, this is not too bad. It's, I don't know, it does sound a little bit, I don't know if it's what was happening in 1999, but I've heard better, but I've heard worse as well. If only. Sounds like there's lots of water on this. Water sounds. It's okay. City Bright Stars isn't too bad. I don't mind this one. I can listen to that one. I Wish I Was in Love. Most of these tracks on this album all sound the same, and this is one of them. Happy Satellite, probably one of the better tracks on this album. I like the middle bit. It's quite interesting. Get It Right. Now this is co-wrote by Terry Hall. It's my favourite track, and it's got that Terry Hall traits on it. Really good track. Nice poppy sort of sound as well. Cigarettes and Lies, not too bad. Another good track. Crowd Pleaser. This is a very busy song. There's a lot going on. It's very bitty. Tales of the Riverbank. I quite like this. It's just a proper pop song. Some typical sort of Lightning Seeds uplifting track. I do like that. Pussyfoot Reprise. Shortest track on the album. One of the best as well. It's got a lovely keyboard on it. All the Things. Another good track. Proper Lightning Seed sound. Excellent vocals from Iain. Great track to end the album. There's some good tracks on here. I didn't like it when I went into the dancey sound though, but on the whole it's got some excellent stuff to listen to on there, and I'm going to give that an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 5, we got the 7th, the most current album, and it's called See You in the Stars. Came out in 2022. Iain Brodie lead guitar and vocals, Martin Campbell bass and backing vocals, Riley Brodie rhythm guitar. Must be one of his relatives. I don't know which one, because the information's not there to tell me who he is or she is. Adele Emmers on keyboards, Jim Sharrock on the drums, and Tim Cunningham saxophone and clarinet. First track on here is called Losing You. I like the little bit of guitar on this. It's quite quirky, and it's the keyboards in the middle that really lifts the track. Emily Smiles. It's quite nice. Yeah, it's a nice little track. It's great lyrics. Very Lightning Seeds, good. Green Eyes. Now, you hear the first few bars on this and you know it's a Lightning Seeds. So it's got that distinctive sound. Catchy chorus. Lovely little song as well. Great to Be Alive. Nothing wrong with this one again. It's got that uplifted feel. Some great lyrics written by Iain Brodie. Excellent track. Sunshine. It's one of the tracks that is a bit of a filler track for me. It doesn't do anything. It's not very memorable at all. Fit for Purpose. This is one of them tracks, it may be 3 minutes long, but it does take a long time to get going. It's okay, I suppose. Live to Love You. My favourite track on here. I love the backing vocals for a start. They are very quirky, and that guitar sound on this is good. It's the sort of thing you associate with this band. Permanent Danger. A drum machine. Doesn't need to be a drummer. Get a drum machine. Get a drummer. Do better than that, Iain Brodie. Walk Another Mile. A really quirky song. And what I like about Lightning Seed songs, the choruses are always catchy. Very good. And the last track, See You in the Stars. It's got that last track of the album syndrome, I'm afraid. Good album on the whole. If it, it's got some mixed bag. Some of the tracks are really excellent on here, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6.2. Okay, coming in at number 4, we have the 4th album from 1996. It's called Dizzy Heights. On here, of course, Ian Brody on vocals and guitar, Simon Rogers on the keyboard and programming, Martin Campbell on the bass, Angie Pollock on the keyboards, Chris Sharrock on the drums, Clive Leighton, Hammond organ and piano, the one and only Mr. Terry Hall on backing vocals, along with Carl Brown and Paul Roberts. First track on here is called Imaginary Friends. It's a really strange start, but once it gets going, it is really good. I really like that. It's co-written by Terry Hall. I think it's got that Terry Hall trait on it. It's really good. Bet Your Life sounds too much like Three Lions. Waiting Today to Happen. That's quite quirky. I love the keyboards in this. It's an excellent track. What If? My favourite track on here. The guitars are really crisp. The keyboards, that quirkiness. Another song co-wrote with Terry Hall. Excellent. Sugar Coated Icebergs next. It's got too much of Life of Riley in it. I don't like it. Touch and Go. Very interesting track. Pleasant, quirky. You know, I like quirky songs. Like You Do. Typical sort of Lightning Seed sound, uplifting. Very nice track. Wish Away. Really boring. I don't know what send you to sleep stuff that is. Fingers and Thumbs. The guitar work on this is lovely for me, and it's excellent. Then they do a cover of a Bird song, actually written by Gene Clark and Roger McGinn, and it's You Showed Me, and I think they do a good version of this. It's a bit more quirky than the Birds version, but nevertheless it's pretty good. Ready or Not. It's a real rocky. I would say this is quite heavy for them. It's really good though. I like it. Fishes on the Line. Second favourite track on the album. I love the odd working of the keyboards on this. They really work well. It's a bit off kilter, and it just adds to it. Great track to end the album. Excellent album. There's one or two tracks on here I think they were struggling a bit, but on the whole it's got some super songs on this, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in at number 3. From 1994 we have Jollification, which which is their third album, and it's got contributions here from Alison Moyet, Ian McNabb and Terry Hall. So Ian Brody, vocals and all instruments. Simon Rogers plays a lot of the instruments as well. You've got Clive Leighton on Hammond organ and piano, Marina Roy on vocals on Why Why Why. Alison Moyet does the vocals on My Best Day. Backing vocals, Terry Hall, Ian McNabb, Carl Brown and Simon Fowler. First track on here is Perfect, quirky little song written by Terry Hall. The lyrics are good, it's fun, and I like that track. Lucky You, Ian and Terry wrote this one. I don't mind this one. It's quirky. The keyboards on this are really fun. I really like that track. Open Goals. There's a little bit of sampling on this. Not one of my favourite tracks, but it has got a killer guitar solo on it, I must admit, and I do love the percussion on it. Change is the next favourite track on here. I've always liked this. When I first heard it many moons ago, I just love the keyboard tones on that. It's a super track. Why? I like the sequencing keyboards on this. I think that even the drum machine is very catchy, and you've got Marina Van Roy doing the vocals. It's a really good track. Marvellous, great track. Catchy, hooky, it's got everything you need. Feeling lazy. It's got a bit of rap in there, very Blur as well, and it does sound very Blur, too much like Blur. My Best Day. It's very poppy, but it's okay. Punch and Judy is very flat. It doesn't do nothing for me. Telling Tales, quirky. I like how it sort of starts, stops, and the ambience comes in this. Not a bad track to end the album. Okay, I know a lot of people. This is a lot of people's favourites. Lightning Seeds album. I do like it, but it's definitely not my favourite. There's one or two tracks on here that don't really do it for me, and that's why it's a bit further down. But top three, it deserves that. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 2, we have the debut album from 1990. Cloudcuckooland. Playing on here, we've got Iain Brodie, various instruments and vocals. We've got Henry Priestman on piano on Bound in the Nutshell and organ on Control the Phone. Mickey Kern's saxophone. Andy McCluskey on keyboards. Ian McNag on bap and vocals. Bit of OMD going on here, and Kate Shanks as well. All I Want. Absolutely brilliant track. I love the start of this. The guitars and drums are brilliant. Super track. Bound in a Nutshell. Oh, I like this because it's so simple. And the piano is just delightful on it, and it works. Then we get my favourite track. It's a classic from Lightning Seeds. It's pure. I've always liked this track. Everyone likes this. It's such a happy-go-lucky track. Wonderful stuff. Sweet Dreams, written by Iain Brodie and Richard Jobson. And it's got that very 60s groove, and I wonder why. It's very solid. I love that track. Very psychedelic in places as well. The Nearly Man. I don't like the start of this because of the drum, but once it gets going, it's fantastic. It's got a really sort of accordion keyboard sound on it, which adds to it as well. Joy, I'm not a fan of this one, I'm afraid. It's got a case of the Phil Collins drum beat, and it just does doing everything, Love Explosion, I don't like the start again, but once it gets going, the sound of it is terrific. It's well produced as well. Don't Let Go, very, very good pop song. Quirky, that chorus, really, memorable words that you can sing along to. Excellent track. Control the Frame. It's very 90s, but it's quirky. The Price, it's very the harmonies on this are really good. The quirky little keyboard run, some nice acoustic guitars in it as well. Very good debut album, really, from the 1990s. There's lots of potential from this album. You could see what was coming. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.3. But the number one album, and it's an album that I sort of remember back in 1992. A friend of mine who I was working with at the time had this, and they used to put it in their car a lot, and it's Sense. Iain Brodie's on the end, Simon and Roger, they do most of the instrumentals. We've got Mark Feltman on harmonica, Alan Dunn on accordion, Clive Layton's back playing the Hammond organ. We've got Roddy Lorimer on the trumpet. Once again, Terry Hall on the backing vocals, so's Ian McNabb and Juliet Roberts. So the first track is Sense, another track written with Terry Hall. I really like this song, and the bass line is terrific. The drumming is brilliant. Great little song. And then we get probably their best and well-known track, The Life of Riley. Fantastic track. It was that good. The BBC got them to do an instrumental version of this, and it was used on Match of the Day soundtrack in football highlights. It's a great track, always like that. Blowing Bubbles, my second favourite track from this album. The guitar work on this one is really good. A cool place, catchy tune with a great beat. Where Flowers Fade, love the guitar on this, just a very quirky track. A small slice of heaven. I love the guitar work on this. Then my favourite title, Tingle Tangle. But it's not my favourite track, but I do love that title. Happy, again, sounds too much like The Life of Riley in places, a little bit repetitive. Marooned, I like the start of this, it's quite eerie, and that keyboard on this is really good. Thinking Up, Looking Down, a little bit long, towards the end it loses itself, but it's on the whole it's a pretty decent track. This is a very good album. They took what they learnt from the debut, just added to it. Iain Brodie was really getting into his stride here. There's some super tracks on here, so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.5. So there we go, a bit of Lightning Seeds. I've really enjoyed doing this one because it's one of them bands that I've actually got to listen to more than just their singles. And, you know, Iain Brodie, quite a talent. Okay, coming up we got a retro ranking, and it's for a little bit of Shaky. A bit of Shaky and Stevens. Got fond memories of Shaky growing up as a teenager. So we'll just be doing that soon. Bye for now.